Good morning, Idaho. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're listening to this. Welcome to the Local Yokel Idaho podcast, where we talk about what is going on in the wonderful state of Idaho. Starting off with holidays and interesting events for the week, we have Monday, the 2nd of January, which is National Cream Puff Day, Science Fiction Day, and World Introvert Day. As for in history, in 1890, a 19.2-foot alligator was shot in Louisiana by Edward Micaiah Heney. In 1906, Willis Carrier received a U.S. patent for the world's first air conditioner. And lastly, in 1942, 28 nations were at war with the Axis power and pledged not to make separate peace deals with them. As for birthdays, Monday was Isaac Asimov's, Roger Miller's, and Tommy Morrison's birthday, and is Christy Turlington's 53rd birthday. As for deaths, Monday in 1904, James Longstreet died, and lastly, in 1977, Errol Garner died. Moving on to Tuesday, the 3rd of January, which is National Chocolate-Covered Cherry Day. As for history, in 1496, Leonardo da Vinci unsuccessfully tested his flying machine. In 1521, Martin Luther was excommunicated from the Catholic Church. And lastly, in 1777, George Washington's army was defeated at the Battle of Princeton, New Jersey. As for birthdays, Tuesday was Cicero's and J.R.R. Tolkien's birthday, and is Mel Gibson's 66th. As for deaths, Tuesday in 1916, Grenville M. Dodge died. In 1963, Jack Ruby died. And lastly, in 2014, Phil Everly died. Wednesday, the 4th of January, is National Trivia Day and Spaghetti Day. As for in history, in 1847, Samuel Colt sold his first revolver to the United States government. In 1863, the four-wheeled roller skate was patented by James Plimpton. In 1865, the New York Stock Exchange opens its first permanent headquarters. In 1953, Luna 1 became the first craft to leave Earth's gravity. And lastly, in 2007, the 110th United States Congress convened and elected Nancy Pelosi as the first female Speaker of the House. As for birthdays, Wednesday was Jacob Grimm's, Louis Braille's, Don Shula's, and Floyd Patterson's birthday. As for deaths, Wednesday in 1877, Cornelius Vanderbilt died. And lastly, in 1961, Erwin Schrödinger died. Short but sweet, we have Thursday. Thursday, the 5th of January, is National Keto Day, Bird Day, and Whipped Cream Day. As for in history, just two here. In 1781, the British naval expedition led by Benedict Arnold burned Richmond, Virginia. Lastly, in 1919, the German Workers' Party was formed. It was the precursor to the Nazi Party. As for birthdays, Thursday was King C. Gillette's, Konrad Adenauer's, and George Reeves' birthday, and is Robert Duvall's 91st birthday. As for deaths, Thursday in 1922, Ernest Shackleton died. In 1933, 30th U.S. President Calvin Coolidge died. In 1939, Amelia Earhart died. And lastly, in 1943, George Washington Carver died. Moving on to Friday the 6th of January is National Cuddle Day, Technology Day, and National Bean Day. As for in history, in 1649, the English Parliament voted to put Charles I on trial for treason and other high crimes. In 1941, U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt made his Four Freedoms speech. In 1975, the Wheel of Fortune debuted on NBC TV. And lastly, in 1987, astronomers of the University of California for the first time, saw the birth of a galaxy. As for birthdays, Friday was John Smith's and Syd Barrett's birthday, and is Rowan Atkinson's 67th birthday. As for deaths, Friday in 1852, Louis Braille died. In 1884, Gregor Mendel died. In 1919, Theodore Roosevelt died. In 1949, Victor Fleming died. And lastly, in 2022, Sidney Poitier died. Saturday, the 7th of January is National Play Outside Day. Granted, I know for a lot of us in the United States, that's going to be a little tricky with the weather. As for in history, in 1714, Henry Mill patented the typewriter. In 1930, Margaret Perret discovered francium, the last naturally occurring element to be found. In 1953, U.S. President Harry Truman announced that America had developed a hydrogen bomb. And lastly, in 1999, President Bill Clinton's impeachment trial began. As for birthdays, Saturday was Millard Fillmore's birthday and is Rand Paul's 59th and Nicolas Cage's 58th birthday. As for deaths, Saturday in 1943, Nikola Tesla died. In 1989, Hirohito died. And lastly, in 2015, Rod Taylor died. Lastly, we come to Sunday, the 8th of January, which is National Sunday Supper Day, Bubble Bath Day, and World Typing Day. As for in history, in 1790, George Washington delivered the first State of the Union address. In 1835, the U.S. national debt was at zero for the first time and only time in history. And lastly, in 1956, Elvis Presley's Don't Be Cruel and Hound Dog singles go first and stay first for a record of 11 weeks. As for birthdays, Sunday was James Longstreet's, Elvis Presley's, Stephen Hawking's, and David Bowie's birthday, and is Kim Jong-un's 39th birthday. As for deaths, Sunday in 1324, Marco Polo died. In 1642, Galileo died. In 1825, Eli Whitney died. In 1976, Joe Enlai died. And lastly, in 1996, Francois Mitterrand died. Moving into upcoming events, I'm going to read the timestamps out for each town. That way you can jump to whichever town you're interested in, thus saving you time. Starting off with Boise at 9 minutes 37 seconds, Meridian at 11 minutes 24 seconds, Nampa at 12 minutes 26 seconds, Caldwell at 13 minutes 11 seconds, Weiser at 13 minutes 53 seconds, Eagle at 14 minutes 22 seconds, Kuna at 15 minutes 12 seconds, Emmett at 15 minutes 42 seconds, Twin Falls at 16 minutes 15 seconds, Pocatello at 17 minutes 56 seconds, Idaho Falls at 20 minutes 40 seconds, Rexburg at 21 minutes 21 seconds, McCall at 22 minutes 7 seconds, Cascade at 23 minutes 7 seconds, Lewiston at 24 minutes 7 seconds, Moscow at 24 minutes 45 seconds, Coeur d'Alene at 25 minutes 18 seconds, Post Falls at 25 minutes 38 seconds, Sandpoint at 25 minutes 56 seconds, and the News at 26 minutes 16 seconds. Starting off with Boise, we've got a couple city events. Wednesday, there is an Open Space and Clean Water Advisory Committee meeting at 4 p.m. at the Boise Depot. Also Wednesday, there is a Public Works Commission meeting at 4 p.m. at the Boise City Hall. Then next Monday, January 9th, there is a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting at 6 p.m. at Boise City Hall. Then next Tuesday, there is a City Council work session and meeting at Boise City Hall. The work session is at 3:30 p.m. and the meeting is at 6 p.m. As for performances, Friday there is an event called Mighty Red Melons, a special tribute to highwaymen. It is at 6:30 p.m. at the Riverside Hotel. It looks like it's a live music performance of some kind. The prices range for tickets from $32 to $40. Saturday, there is a late night comedy open mic at the Mad Swede Brew Hall at 10:30 p.m. Saturday, there is a basketball match between Utah State and Boise State at the Taco Bell Arena at 4:30 p.m. And then lastly, in performances, Saturday and Sunday, there is the Great Train Show from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Expo, Idaho. They will have over 150 plus tables of trains for sale, a huge operating model train display, free workshops, and much more. You'll need to purchase tickets, so go check that out if you're interested in the event. As for fun stuff, Friday and Saturday, there's a Western Idaho Fly Fishing Expo at 9 a.m. at Expo, Idaho. And then lastly, Saturday, there is a British Cars and Coffee event from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Chow Public Market and Eatery. For more information about anything I talked about, go to the Boise City website or check the link in the description below. Meridian, just one city event here. Tuesday, there is a city council meeting and work session at the Meridian City Hall. The work session is at 4:30 p.m. and the meeting is at 6 p.m. Then as for fun stuff, I've got two here. Wednesday, there is a youth ballroom class from 4:15 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. at 1735 West Chinden Boulevard. It is for ages 14 to 18. Is going to be on East Coast Swing. For students, it is $5 a person and $45 per added sibling. As for other events, starting Monday, there is holiday tree recycling being offered by Meridian. It ends Friday. To partake in that, just place it on the curbside and they will pick it up for free. For more details and descriptions about what size and different stuff, check the link below. On Saturday, there is the 2023 Idaho GOP Winter Gala from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Ambrose Great Hall. For tickets and prices, check the link below. For more information about anything I talked about, go to the Meridian City website or check the link in the description below. Nampa just got two city events here. Tuesday, there is a city council meeting from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the council chambers. Then lastly, next Monday, January 9th, there is a Nampa Airport Commission meeting from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 112 North Pilatus Lane, Nampa. As for performances, Thursday, there is the Winter Show and Conference from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Nampa Civic Center. It is about gardening and agriculture. The event is free and there is no need to register. As in other events, Saturday and Sunday, there is the Great Idaho Gun Show at 9 a.m. at the Fort Idaho Center. It is $10 a person. For more information about anything talked about, go to the Nampa City website or check the link in the description below. Caldwell got three city events here. Tuesday, there is the city council meeting from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Caldwell Police Station. Then we move on to Wednesday, where there is the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council meeting from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Caldwell Police Department. And then lastly, next Monday, January 9th, there is the Urban Renewal Agency meeting from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Caldwell Police Department. Then I only have one other event, and it's in the fun category. Saturday, there is an open house at the Caldwell Depot from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. It'll be open for people to walk around and learn about the history of the museum and the station there. For more information about the topics talked about above, go to the Caldwell City website or check the link in the description below. Weezer, same old, same old. We've got Wednesday, there's the 4-H game programming after school series from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at 116 West Idaho Street. They'll be learning about computer science and game programming. It is an ongoing event. They say it's $35 for the program year. I'm not sure if that starts up here in January and then it covers the whole year or a year from when you pay for it, but you'll have to check out with them. For more information about anything I talked about, check the link in the description below. Eagle, starting off here with city events. Tuesday, there is an Eagle Urban Renewal Agency meeting at 4 p.m. at Eagle City Hall. Also Tuesday, there is a public hearing at 6 p.m. at the council chambers on Riverside subdivision waivers. And then Wednesday, there is coffee with the mayor from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the council chambers. Then next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a city council meeting at 5:30 p.m. at the council chambers. And then also next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a public hearing at 6 p.m. at the council chambers on City of Eagle and GWC Capital. There seems to be a lot going on with this one, so if you're interested, check the link below to read more about it. With that said, I don't actually have any other events. I couldn't find any performances, fun stuff, or other stuff. So for more information about anything else we talked about, go to the Eagle City website or check the link in the description below. CUNA, couldn't find anything for City, but I do have one fun event here. Tuesday, there is a sign painting class at 6 p.m. at 762 East With Creek Court in CUNA. I'll spell that out, 762 East WYTHE Creek CT CUNA. They'll be making their own signs, it appears. Seems like kind of an interesting class if you wanted to put some stuff up around the property, but that's all I've got, so you can check below for a link to learn about that. Emmett, no city events going on here, but I do have two other ones. As for fun things, Wednesday there's an event called First Friday at 3 p.m. where they'll be making pine cone bird feeders. Granted, they don't state where it's at, so you might want to check with them, but I'm guessing it's going to be downtown somewhere. And then lastly, in other events, next Monday, January 9th, there is a Alzheimer's disease group meeting at 6:30 p.m. at the Cottage of Emmett. For more information about anything I talked about, go to the Emmett City website or check the link in the description below. Twin Falls got a lot of city events here. Monday, there is a city council meeting from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. The location is not stated like the rest of these. Tuesday, there is a public art commission meeting at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Then also Tuesday, there is a city council meeting from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then Wednesday, there is a planning and zoning commission work session from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday, there is an SLFRF committee meeting from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Next Monday, January 9th, there is a Historic Preservation Commission meeting from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then next Monday, January 9th, there is a City Council meeting from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Then next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Parks and Recreation Commission meeting from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Location not provided. And then lastly, also next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the location is not provided for any of those. So please, it would be so nice if Twin Falls, if you actually stated the location of those things, because that would be wonderful for the rest of us. As for performances, Thursday, there is a men's basketball match between the Snow College Badgers and Southern Idaho Eagles. The match is at 7 p.m. at the College of Southern Idaho. And then lastly, Saturday, Carson Hasher will be performing at 6 p.m. at 2nd South Market. And then lastly, in fun stuff, there is a watercolor class at 10 a.m. at the Wilson Theater. Tickets for the class are $30 a person. For more information about anything talked about, go to the Twin Falls City website or check the link in the description below. Pocatello, even though it's a slow week, you guys have some stuff here. As for City, Tuesday there is a site planning review meeting from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. at City Hall. Also Tuesday, there is a Chamber of Commerce meeting at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. at City Hall. And then lastly, Tuesday, there is a Pocatello Arts Council meeting from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at City Hall. Then we move on to Wednesday, where there is a Child Care Advisory meeting from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at City Hall. Also Wednesday, there is a Historic Preservation Commission meeting from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at City Hall. Then to Thursday, there is a City Council meeting at 5:30 p.m. at 9 p.m. at City Hall. And then Friday, there is a State of the City address from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Shoshone Banquet Casino Hotel. It's $20 a person. Then next Monday, January 9th, there is a Pocatello Mayor's Youth Advisory Council meeting from 3:15 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at City Hall. Also next Monday, January 9th, there is a Human Relations Advisory Committee meeting from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at City Hall. Then moving on to next Tuesday, January 10th, there's a Pocatello Regional Airport Commission meeting from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at 1950 Airport Way, Pocatello. Also next Tuesday, January 10th, there's a site planning review meeting from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. at City Hall. Next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Pocatello Sister City Foundation meeting from 5:15 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. at City Hall. And then lastly, next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Chamber of Commerce meeting from 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. at City Hall. As for performances, Friday, there is the Friday First Art Walk from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in downtown Pocatello. And in fun stuff, Wednesday, there's an embroidery club meeting from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Sew in Stitches Quilt Shop. You will need to sign up for that. Also Wednesday, there is a team roping from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Bannock County Event Center. And then Thursday, there is a steampunk jewelry class from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Elwen Cottage, ELWEN. It is $35 a person, and you will need to register for that. As in other events, Tuesday there is a lecture about improving vegetation along Idaho roadways. It is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Idaho Museum of Natural History. And then lastly, Saturday there is a beginner skater lesson from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Delta Skating. It is $48 for 4 weeks of lessons. For more information on anything I talked about, go to the Pocatello City website or check the link in the description below. Idaho Falls. As for city events, couldn't find any there. But for fun events, Saturday there's an event called Tweens on Wheels from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Eastern Idaho Art Museum. It is a class teaching the basics of pottery, glazing, and the firing process. You will need to register. It is $20 for members and $25 for non-members. In other events, Thursday, there is an avalanche awareness and safety event from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Colonial Theater. It is free for the public and put on by the Idaho State Parks and Recreation. For more information on anything I talked about, go to the Idaho Falls City website or check the link in the description below. Rexburg, we have one city event. Wednesday, there is a city council meeting at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall. As for performances, Friday, there is the First Friday Art Stroll at 7 p.m. in downtown Rexburg. There will be public displays of art throughout the town. And then Saturday, there is the LOL Rexburg at 7 p.m. at the Romance Theater. It is a clean comedy show, or billed as such. You can go check out that link for that. And then in fun stuff, Thursday there is a intro to watercolor class at 7 p.m. The location is not stated, but you will need to register. So I would check below and reach out to the organizer to find out when that exactly is. For more information on anything I talked about, go to the Rexburg City website or check the links in the description below. McCall, we got a couple things for city here. Tuesday, there is a tree advisory meeting at 7 p.m. at 413 Rio Vista Boulevard, McCall. And then Thursday, there's an airport advisory meeting at 12 p.m. at Legion Hall. Next Monday, January 9th, there is a Historic Preservation Commission meeting at 4:30 p.m. at Legion Hall. Also, next Monday, January 9th, there is a Library Board of Trustees meeting at 10 a.m. at Legion Hall. And then lastly, next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting at 4:30 p.m. at Legion Hall. As for performances, Wednesday, there is a McCall Film Society showing from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Alpine Playhouse. They will be showing 2 films, and admission is free. As for fun stuff, Wednesday, there is a Yahtzee game from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Bistro 45. And then Saturday, there is a free ski day at Ponderosa State Park. You will need to pre-register for that, though. And as in other events, starting Monday, there is a cross-country skiing and snowshoeing at the Meadow Creek Golf Resort from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For adult day pass, it is $10, and for youth, it is $5. It'll be going until April 30th. For more information on anything we talked about, go to the McCall City website or check the link in the description below. Cascade, just the regular ones. Friday, there's a dinner from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at American Legion. And then also Friday, there's a swing dance class from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and is free for all ages to attend. It will be happening at the Valley Club building. They will be going over country and line dancing. If you have any questions, call Steve at 208-861-8486. And then lastly, Friday, there's bingo at the Senior Center this Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. For more information about anything I talked about, go to the Cascade City website or check the link in the description below. Lewiston got 2 city events here. Monday, there is a city council work session from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Bell Building. And then lastly, next Monday, January 9th, there is a city council meeting from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Lewiston Library. As for fun stuff, Friday, there is coffee and books from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Lewiston Library. And then next Tuesday, January 10th, there is the Tuesday at the Library from 4 p.m. They will have snacks, and there will be a Smash Bros. Video game tournament, plus some other fun stuff if you're interested. For more information about anything I talked about, look at the Lewiston City website or check the link in the description below. Moscow, not a lot of stuff, but still some stuff. As for performances, Thursday, there is an audition for Pickwick Papers Play from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the 1912 Center. As for fun stuff, Saturday, there is a beginner's knitting workshop at 11 a.m. at the Yarn Underground. And then lastly, next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Tuesday Birds Book Club from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Moscow Public Library. For more information about any things I talked about, go to the Moscow City website or check the link in the description below. Coeur d'Alene, just 2 city events for you here. Tuesday, there is a city council meeting at 6 p.m. at the library community room. And then next Tuesday, January 9th, there is a general service public works committee meeting at 12 p.m. at the library community room. For more information about the topics I talked about above, go to the Coeur d'Alene City website. Post Falls, here again, just 2 city events here. Tuesday, there is a city council meeting from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at City Hall. And then next Tuesday, January 10th, there is a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at City Hall. For more information about those two, go to the Post Falls City website. Lastly, we come to Sandpoint. Just one event here. Friday, there is an avalanche awareness presentation from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., but the location is not stated, so you will need to reach out to them. It's being put on by the Idaho Department of Parks and Recreation. For more information about that one thing, check the link in the description below to find more information out. Continuing on into the news here, we have our first story, Moscow murder update. This comes by KTVB7 by Alexandria Duggan. So I thought I'd get this out of the way first. Friday, December 30th, a 20-year-old man was arrested related to the murders in Moscow. He was arrested in Monroe County in Pennsylvania, where he is currently being held at the county correction facility while waiting for extradition for his felony crimes. The court has denied to set bail, though. The man was, according to Washington State University's website, a graduate teaching assistant studying criminology and criminal justice at the college. WSU, for context, is a 15-minute drive away from Moscow. As of right now, there's no public connection between him and the 4 murders, but he has been charged with the 4 counts of first-degree murder and felony of burglary with intent to murder. Glad to see that there's an update, that the investigation is going well with this. I know it was a pretty big topic and has kind of continued to be kind of a big topic in the news cycle here in Idaho, but it's encouraging to see they're making some headway. It will be interesting to see how they tie him with the case and everything as that comes out. You may be wondering why I didn't state his name. I just decided to skip over that. If you're really interested, you can go into it. But he's a 28-year-old man, and so I thought I would just say that. There were some other more nitpicky details and stuff where they went into his political leanings or other things they were finding, and then different kind of abnormalities or things. But I decided to just kind of skip over those and get the general gist and all that down for you guys. But I'm glad they're moving forward. I'm glad they have a suspect. Hopefully it's the actual guy, or if it's not the actual guy, it's someone that will help in connection with everything to bring more light and bring whoever killed them to justice. Next one here comes by the Shoshone Press by Josh McDonald. The title is Trapper King. For all the gun lovers out there, I have a fun story for you, and also for all those Idahoans out there that are proud of our state. Back in August, a gentleman by the name of Grant Williams went to compete in the 123rd Grand American Trap Shooting Competition in Sparta, Illinois. This man is from northern Idaho. He's been shooting competitive shotguns since he was 11 years old, and his family has been doing it for far longer. His dad, Mr. Williams, is part of the Idaho Trap Shooting Hall of Fame. Needless to say, his son Grant will probably be joining him at some point. At the previously mentioned competition, Grant had an aggregate score of 398 from single target, double target, and handicap, which made him the winner of the competition and one of the best trap shooters in the world. The best possible score being 400, so only 2 off from his target, which is really cool. It is awesome to see that we have talent here in Idaho that can go and compete on a national level. I didn't say it in here, but I remember in the article, I didn't have it in my script, which was just a mistake on my part. that the competition that they have there is not only just for the United States, but there's people from all over the world that come there to compete and stuff. And so it's almost like, it's not titled as it, but almost like an international competition. Now, I don't know what sets apart like a shooting competition from a trap shooting competition. If that just means that it requires you to only use a shotgun or what. I'm not familiar enough with that terminology to know, but still, great performance by him, and congratulations for him for winning that competition, and glad that he's here back in Idaho. I know when you're reading the article, he sounds like a very humble gentleman. They kind of went into describing him a little bit. I thought about leaving that out of here because I just wanted to cover the general basis and stuff, but he's just graduated, it appears, from the article, so congratulations to him on that as well, and it sounds like he's just going to keep doing it, but he doesn't want to go professional according to the article. They said that the article said that he just wants to use it as a hobby and stuff and not become professional with it, which I think is fine. There's definitely some jobs like that, or hobby, should I say, that you don't want to do professionally because it just kind of takes away from it, which is fine. But congratulations to him for winning that competition and being a wonderful representative for Idaho. New Eagles shooting range and sports park. This comes by the Boise Dev by Margaret Carmel. So there's a lot here. If you want to get into more of the nerdy bits, you can, but I'm just going to give a general overview here. The article gets into some of that about like the zoning and the back and forth between the city and some stuff. If you really want to get in that, you can, but I'm just going to give a general overview of the events that followed. But in short, the city of Eagle is working on 2 projects. One is a sports park located in the intersection of Idaho 16 and Quest Lane. The other is a shooting range planned to be near Willow Creek Road. The sports park will be about 100 acres in size and will have 8 baseball fields, 5 flat fields, and some tennis/pickleball courts, plus some hiking trails. But it's supposedly only 30% designed, so there's still some stuff up in the air there. The city is planning to spend about $12 million to get the park ready for development. I'm assuming that's not the total bill that they're going to pay. With that said, there are some in Eagle that are raising some frustrations due to the fact that the meeting for this, which was about the money for the land, was planned the week before Christmas and on a weekday, plus with short notice. Secondly, the papers related to the event were only shared after its completion, so you couldn't see what was going to be talked about and was beyond debate. You could only see it after. Other people that argued that that was fine because it was a private event, and even if they wanted to know about it, they couldn't get into the meeting or whatever else. Yada, 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 a bunch of other stuff. You can go look into that, but there was some complications, but it looks like Eagle's working through some planning and development for a sports park there. As for the shooting range, that one is rocky as well. There's still a debate over the environmental impact and the noise it might cause to the nearby subdivision, so the Eagle City Council has not approved it yet. If it were to go through, the range would include a 3D archery range, plus rifle, shotgun, pistol, and a separate range for law enforcement. The city has appeared to have done some environmental evaluations and noise studies, but I'm not seeing any findings in the article, or maybe they weren't shown there or whatever else. They might have done those, or maybe they're not even public. But the last thing to share on the range is that the land was not bought by the city, but was donated by GWC Capital. As I was reading this and kind of going through it, it was interesting. I mean, it's cool to see that, we might have another cool kind of park with some trails and different stuff being added. And the shooting range sounds like an amazing option to also have that as well. But it does sound like there's some bureaucracy kind of going on in politics where the Eagle City isn't maybe being as clear as they could and communicating as much as they could with constituents. And then there's the weird thing with like a lot of the land here being donated and more bigger businesses being involved in its development, which makes it seem like there might be something going on the table, but I'm not saying there is. It just kind of gives me a little bit of that feel, especially why would a company donate, the land necessary for the shooting range per se, GWC Capital? What does that financially benefit them unless they're trying to give it and then like tax related things maybe, or in the more shady area that it's going to give them more lucrative stuff with zoning and things with Eagle. I don't know if that's what's going on, but it just kind of gives me that vibe. Correlation is not always causation, but it is kind of a weird thing going on there. Hopefully they figure it out, and I'm glad that people there in Eagle are being involved in their local politics and stuff. From what I can read, that they're going and they're asking and they're raising concerns and getting on people about different stuff that they care about, and that's what any community should do, and I'm really glad that Eagle's doing that, even though it makes for a little bit of controversy. Next one here is short but little dramatic. Bomb squad in Moorland. This comes by the East Idaho News by Andrea Olson. Last Monday in Moorland, Idaho, north of Blackfoot, the deputies responded to a call at a local park. They stated that there appeared to be an explosive of some kind in the bathroom. The deputies showed up around 1:45 p.m. Deputies did confirm that it was an explosive device, so they called the Idaho Falls Regional Bomb Squad for help. They determined that the bomb was a countercharge, which has to be discharged in some form to be made safe or inert. From this article, it appears that it was they detonated the charge to keep it safe, but they also stated there were no damages to the public and no one was hurt during the event, according to the deputies. There is now a further investigation into where the charge came from, and they're also asking for people to step forward if they know something or saw people around the bathrooms that looked a little unsavory. Yeah, you don't always hear about this. I mean, I know I haven't been doing the podcast for a long time, so I don't have a wonderful history of stuff and everything, but this seems to be a semi-rarity for explosives. I don't even know how you would procure one of those, if that's something you do homemade or you can buy it online when you have the proper clearances or different stuff. I'm not super informed about that, but it's interesting, especially when you look on a map where Moorland is. It is out in the middle of nowhere. It's not near a freeway, and I couldn't, when I was looking from satellite, I couldn't even find a main street for the town or whatever. It's just out there. It's in the middle of kind of a little bit of nowhere. So I don't know why that showed up. Part of me wonders, in some weird Hollywood world, some guy had a bomb and he was I can't have this on me. So he ditched it somewhere and left it in a park as they drove off. And so there was no correlation to him or whatever else. But that's me just joking and having some fictional thoughts about it. But I'm glad no one got hurt. I'm glad responded. Everyone did their job and everything went accordingly. And I hope they kind of figure out why this showed up there out of all the places it could have. Also, another short one, but still relevant, upgrades to McCall Parks. This comes by the Boise Dev by Autumn Robertsons. So there is talk about upgrading some parks there in McCall by the city council. Nothing is final, but the council has heard an update on the park's recreation's open space plans. Once the plans are finished, the city can move forward on working on some of the projects. One of them involves improving and working on the riverfront park of Mission Street. They hope to add an aquatic center, multiple use fields, and a pickleball court. Plus, they're talking about more potential neighborhood parks, but that's still up in the air. If you want to check out more stuff about it down below, you can check the link, and in the article, there is a map kind of showing some of the stuff they're thinking of, which I think would be really cool. I mean, I've visited McCall quite often during the year, usually in the summer. I'm guilty of that because I don't have a truck to deal with any major snow issues on my way up there. But when I have been there, it's a pretty town, but you don't notice a lot of parks compared to down here in the valley. You'll drive and then here's a park, there's a park, here's a park, there's a park. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of parks besides the main forest parks or whatever else that the state runs and stuff and things. But then again, I mean, kind of don't need a park when you live in a place like McCall. Your backyard is a park. It's so rural and beautiful out. You kind of don't need it. Rather than the city, I could see where you need it more. But it is cool to see that they're working on that. It'll be interesting to see what gets approved and what they start working on. Boilers at the Idaho State Correction Center. This comes by KTVB7 by Tracy Bringhurst. So for some time, there have been reports of boiler issues at the Idaho State Correction Center. Some reports range from just an issue to more dire situations. In an email, Jeff Craig, the Idaho Department of Corrections Public Information Officer, stated that there have been some issues with the boiler. Quoting from him, quote, "One of the 3 boilers that provides hot water for about 1,800 of the 2,100 residents at the Idaho State Correction Center went down December 17th, and the other 2 boilers went down December 24th. So, end quote. They've got 3 boilers there. With that said, Ray stated that December 27th, one of the hot water boilers is working, and the second one is going to be working by December 29th. The third one they're working on, but in the meantime, they have rented 3 trailer showers, each one with 8 shower stalls each. He also did add in the email that there are no issues with the heating system at the center, though. Kind of sad to hear. I don't know if it's more just poor maintenance that caused this or kind of some really crazy stuff. I know this year the weather has just been a lot more extreme in the winter and something. But then again, prisons just weird things that don't normally happen there. It might have been really good maintenance and then maybe something with inmates or security occurred. I don't know. But I'm glad they're getting them back up and working. It looks like, the first one went down December 17th, the second one, the 24th. Then there was like 3 days from the 24th, and then they had another one up the 27th and the 29th. So not a horrible amount of time to not have them working, but not a really enjoyable time of year to not have them working. But it also is good to hear that the heating didn't go out at all, and they're kind of working to fix that. Good on them. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, and they figure out the source of the issue and can keep it maintained. Intermountain Gas might raise prices. This comes by KTVB7 by Tracy Bringhurst. So Intermountain Gas has filed a PGA, or a Purchase Gas Cost Adjustment application. If the application is approved, there will be a 16.6% or $8.58 increase in prices for residential services, and a 17.9% or $43.10 increase for commercial services. If it is approved, those price increases would go in February of 2023. This comes with the lower ramp up on drilling and limits on natural gas pipelines. Quoting from Scott Madison, Executive Vice President of the Business Development and Gas for the company, the rebounding economy, a slow ramp up in drilling activities, and limited natural gas pipeline capacity are factors increasing commodity prices. With that said, there are still some stuff that they have to go through to get approval. It may or may not happen. The city of Boise might get involved, and it also has to go past the Idaho Public Utilities Commission to get approved. So it'll be interesting to see. It's not a one-to-one. The Idaho Public Utilities Commission has not universally always approved their stuff. There's been points where they've approved it and cut it back a little bit. Also, earlier in the year, the Intermountain Gas did actually cut their prices and put this similar request to bring them down, which didn't have any issue passing at all. But I could totally see, as the winter goes on, the demand and everything, they're having to put their prices up to meet those needs and demands. Little bit of a sad one here, but I thought I'd do it. Caldwell Christmas shooting and Post Falls shooting. This comes from several sources. So a lot of shooting-related crimes happened last week and even Christmas Day, so I thought I'd boil it down into just one thing here rather than having separate ones. But first off, in Caldwell at 7:45 a.m. Christmas morning, a person was shot after a fight on 3100 Village Green Street in Caldwell. The police do not think it was gang-related. Later that day, the Caldwell police arrested a 20-year-old man in a house in Parma. He is suspected to be the shooter. The Caldwell police chief gave a statement on it. If you're interested, you can go look at that in the links below for yourself. Then the next one is from Post Falls on December 19th. Last Thursday, officers were responding to hit-and-run crashes, according to the article. The suspect rammed a police car and ran. The police followed him, and he rammed another patrol car on I-90, where the police officers were forced to shoot. No officers were shot. The police have not released any further information, and the rest of the investigation will be done by the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. But that's really sad to hear about with the Christmas one and about the Post Falls one, especially the Post Falls one. That's crazy. The guy rammed a car, then ran, and then found another car or someone else to help him, and then rammed another car, and then had to get shot. That's just... I wonder what was going on. It can't be drunk, because he's got enough function to kind of evade and stuff, and it's not hard to catch someone when they're drunk. Maybe on drugs, or maybe there was something more to this. It'll be interesting to see if any more news comes out about this, or if the police are going to be hush-hush about it. Now we come to the last one here, Idaho Disneyland. This comes by the Boise Dev by Donde. So I think, I saved the fun and interesting one for the last story, and this one is a fun blast from the past. So in April of 1996, Larry Eastland presented a big dream in front of the Nampa Civic Center, a theme park named Sweetwater Junction. It is a theme park that would be built on the land near what is now the Idaho Center. It was dreamed to have a 45-hole golf course, 27 rides, an IMAX theater, a theme park, shopping area, water slide park, hotels, an old car museum, ice skating rink, and a farmer's market the size of ones found in San Francisco or Seattle, plus some other things. They were hoping to put all of this on 40 acres of land, but as we all know today, that didn't end up happening. So why? Where did it go? At first, it looked like it was going to happen, but after they said they were going to break ground in October, and then October came and went, and then another month, And then another month, it started to look more shaky. The legislature allowed for cities to levy an optional tax to help with the project, but the bill died. In short, as more and more problems rose, they struggled to find the money they needed. In the end, it ended up dying in 1999 in October. With that said, some companies saw this idea and ran with parts of it. For example, the Roaring Springs Water Park opened in 1990. The Village opened up in 2013 with a similar kind of outdoor idea. But an all-in-one theme park just didn't come to be, which I didn't even know. I mean, looking at kind of some of the images, if you want to, I'd recommend going to the article. They seem really cool, and it seems like a really amazing idea to just kind of have it in this all one place and everything, and it would have been a really cool place, almost like the Village on steroids. But sadly, it just didn't come to be. I could see where some investors back in the day were trying to be really careful and cautious. I don't know what malls were looking like at that point, if they were still doing really well, because I wasn't following stuff back then. I wasn't old enough. But I could totally see where some investors could be really kind of stand backish about wanting to put their money into something that might not get that return on investment. I know with Disneyland, for example, there was more kind of security in knowing that they would get their money back because Disney had already made a ton of money and was making tons of money and was super popular. It'd be like Tesla saying, we're looking for investors to make a Tesla museum or something. That they were doing so well, Disney, that it was like, no kidding. This is going to be easy. We'll put our money here. It'll be wonderful. We'll definitely get our return on investment. It's a really cool idea that we can use in our press and everything. Rather than this, I could see from someone of a different investor and different building company where it just didn't quite take off the ground and get the intrigue or interest that they were hoping for. But still a cool thing to look back to, and hopefully we'll see more interesting things. I mean, the Topgolf was a perfect example of that have moved into Idaho. That's awesome, and I'm glad we have it, and that other interesting attractions are growing in the state. Now for the quickies, I just have 3 of them here. Moose in Pocatello. This comes by the East Idaho News. According to the Pocatello Police Department, there has been several reports of a moose hanging around the Churchill Downs neighborhood and surrounding areas. They're warning people to be careful and leave the animal alone. This next one is Boise State Athletics gets $5 million in a donation. This comes by KTVB7 by the staff there. Boise State Athletics program was donated $5 million from Bob and Sharon Miller last Wednesday. This donation is one of the largest one-time donations given to the department in the history of its existence, according to the Boise State Athletics. They say the money will be going to the improvements for the North End zone and for future basketball capital improvements. And then the last one here, Boise State beats North Texas. On December 17th, Boise State Broncos beat North Texas Green at the Fiscal Bowl. The final score was 35-32. If I missed something or got something wrong, or you have some advice for the show, then send me an email at localyocalidaho2002@gmail.com or tweet me at localyocalidaho on Twitter. For right now, this show is just a one-man show, so I can't afford to go over everything, but I hope I was able to cover as many things as possible. Thank you for your support. That's all for now, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Godspeed.